that awakening doesn't manifest more complete sooner, or all that.
So you're still waiting.
I am. That's why I feel so at rest.
Awesome.
But what to do with that?
Why would you want to wait? Does it serve you?
No.
Or does it make you frustrated and disappointed?
Yes,
then
frustrated.
Don't wait. You're frustrated because you're waiting.
Yes.
You're frustrated
exactly.
because the act you're doing is out of vibrational alignment with your higher self. Your higher self is saying, be whoever you want to be. Focus on whatever you want to focus on. Create whatever you want to create. Don't wait for circumstances because they don't really exist. They're just mirrors and smoke. Smoke and mirrors mirroring you. When you keep waiting, your frequency is out of alignment with the truth of your being, right?
And
that is the frustration. The frustration is not that things don't happen fast enough. The frustration is that you keep waiting.
And what do you say to all of us who have a certain, I don't know, is it like an addiction to it or just a comfort level with it? Even though I know it doesn't serve.
Yes.
And still I dwell there a lot.
Then it must still serve you in your mind's eye. You may conscious with your limited conscious mind, you may think it doesn't serve you, but discover the unconscious mind which still believes it serves you. Because addiction is nothing but an expression of your beliefs still. There is no addiction. It's not a thing that exists. There is choosing. And you're choosing to continue a similar pattern because you believe it still serves you.
The lower frequency.
What do you mean?
The lower frequency. I still can believe that the lower frequency serves me. That's what you're saying.
For example, or just anything, whether it's high or low frequency, doesn't really matter ultimately. It can be high frequency to one person, but it can be low frequency to you. You are the high or low frequency, not the thing, not the cigarettes, not the whatever you're addicted to, not the pattern. Everything is inherently neutral. Smoke and mirrors are empty of meaning, empty of vibration in that sense. They're not really empty of vibration, they are vibrational. But they're empty of value. They're empty of right or wrong, high or low. You are either high in your alignment or out of alignment, which we could call low frequency. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the symbol of whatever your addiction is, it may be a pattern of keep doing something a certain way or you keep waiting. But to call that an addiction is to excuse yourself and to say, okay, this is outside of my creatorship. While you created the entire universe, you say, except for this thing. I created all that is, but not this pattern. So I'm still addicted to it. There's nothing I can do about it. But there is an underlying belief that suggests that that pattern is serving you. What does that believe? Open up your conscious mind to your sub and unconscious mind so that they become one whole consciousness more and more so every day again.
So do I just address all my thing to the inspiring and joyful pole and not give energy to the other one?
Have 95% of your focus be on what excites you. And whenever genuinely something comes up that seems to obstacle you, that seems to trip you up, investigate. As soon as you've come to clarity about it, restart, or not restart, but re-enter your flow of acceleration and excitement and joy and being absolutely oblivious to circumstances. Then when something trips you up, investigate. What is it? Clear it up. Identify the belief, see if it still serves you. If it seemingly still serves you, ask yourself, are you sure? Why do I believe it still serves me? Am I afraid something's going to happen to me? What if that thing would happen to me? Would it be that bad? Would there be no way out of it? No, there wouldn't be. Okay, so it doesn't serve me anymore. Boop. And you are in your excitement again, and you're acting on your passion. And then something trips you up, and you stop for a second. That's all right. You don't have to keep in your flow. Try to ignore something. Sometimes that can work. But sometimes you just need to see that thing and investigate. Because you're accelerating, you're expanding your frequency, and in that new frequency heaven on earth domain, closer to heaven on earth domain, there are certain frequency beliefs that simply don't fit in, that you're trying to carry with you. Does that make sense? It's like trying to carry a cube of ice with you as you approach the sun. It just doesn't work. It can't be there. And so your attention is pointed on the fact that the ice is melting. Similarly, when you enter new frequency states, you increase your frequency and everything about you starts to transform. You will hit many points that point you to the melting beliefs. And so you can facilitate that process, accelerate it by investigating and making that loving sort of conscious moment with yourself where you see, hey, wait a second, let me honor this belief for a moment because this has served me for so many years because I didn't take care of myself consciously. So be grateful for the fact that that belief has always unconsciously supported your reality. But now that you're expanding your consciousness, you become more responsible, you become more empowered and more able to take care of yourself vibrationally and consciously at every given moment, because you have that intentional clarity every single moment, more and more. You become sharper, more crisper, more awake, more responsive, more empowered. As a result, you no longer need that unconscious, distorted, sort of ineffective belief to unconsciously create a portion of your reality for you. You can now intend what that's going to look like. You can now be the painter of that painting. So those fourth arms, the third and the fourth arms, which are your unconscious arms, which were sort of like painting your picture, most of your picture, and now you're saying like, hey, wait a second, I actually don't want my picture to look like that. I have the power to paint with my hands consciously, right? As you start doing that, you start bumping into your unconscious arms that are also painting the picture, because that's what they know. They're trying to serve you, right? They've always served you. So ask them, or ask yourself, how do I believe these beliefs serve me? And then either see that they still do or don't. But if they trip you up, they usually don't. Otherwise, you wouldn't be conscious of them. Whatever truly serves you, you don't become conscious of as a limiting belief. As soon as you're aware of a limiting belief, it doesn't serve you, but a portion of your mind may still be unconscious and wants to be made conscious. That's why it trips you up in that moment, so you become aware of it. So you can lovingly be grateful for how it served you and transform it, so that it can join you. That portion of your consciousness which was segregated, separated, given away to the unconscious can be made conscious, add to your consciousness, expand your consciousness, and limit the amount of unconsciousness you need to create your life.
Can you slow down at that 1 second where you say,
Me?
transform it?
Or you?
No.
Can I slow down? I'll try.
In the flow of explaining, that moment where you lovingly see something,
Yes.
and just take that moment and say, and then transform it. Can you say that? What do you mean by that?
Okay. I think so.
What you do or let happen? That's my question.
Right.
At that point.
Right. So let's say you run a business, right? You have a company, and you want to let go of an employee that has served you for so long. You're not going to just kick his ass out, right? He's served you for 30 years. He's like one of your senior employers. And so you're the CEO, and now you figured something else out. You either found someone more capable, or you want to do it yourself, or you hired this team that can do it. And so his skills no longer are competent enough to take the business to the next level. Excellent. Thank you. So, as a result, you appreciate that senior employee, no? There's no reason for you to be angry at him. There's no reason for you to feel separate from him. In fact, you give him 3 months notice, and at the end of 3 months notice, you throw him a big party and you give him a bonus. That's what you do, so that every part of your whole being feels comfortable with the separation agreement, with the agreement to move on to something new. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So a similar loving kind approach should be approached to your own unconscious mind, to your own beliefs that no longer serve you. So you're expanding your consciousness, you're getting really excited about this project in your life, or all these projects in your life, just the way you live your life. Can you turn off that microphone for 1 second? There you go. Oh, nice. Thanks. So, you're expanding yourself. You get really excited. As a result, your personal frequency increases because it lines up with that background sending of your higher self frequency. That makes sense, right? That principle. You feel out of alignment when you're not in alignment. You feel good when you are in alignment. So when you're in alignment, your frequency increases, your perspectives line up. And as this frequency increases, it will reveal what does not fit in anymore, right? As that new team comes into the company, it shows how much more capable they are of doing that task, and how redundantly this other person has done it for so long. He managed, but it just wasn't very effective comparatively to that new frequency. So that trips you up. It brings your attention to this negative belief, and treat it with the utmost respect. Give it 2 weeks notice. Say like, okay, you can keep creating part of my reality for the next 2 weeks, just because I appreciate all the work you've done for 30 years. And at the end of those 2 weeks, I'll throw you a big grand party of love and forgiveness and celebration and joy and thankfulness. And I'll give you a big fat bonus. And then it's, then it's done with. But treat it with that respect and that love. And when you do that, you see that the melting is the melting of portions of yourself back into the whole of yourself. And then it realigns itself. instead of like, oh no, I don't want that belief, it doesn't serve me anymore. If you have that approach, then you must have another lack belief, that somehow having a belief that limits you implies lack, but it doesn't. Does that make sense? So always approach it with abundance, with lacklessness. Know that you are infinity. So you're not in a rush. Yes, you are accelerating. Yes, you are very clear on what serves you and what doesn't. And nevertheless, you have infinite patience because you're not waiting. Does that answer your question?
Well, it's a huge contribution to it, yes.
Oh, okay. Is there anything left?
Yeah, that's good to work with.
Are you clear on the process of loving your limiting beliefs? Identifying that they no longer serve you, but loving them into the meltful state where they relax their hold on your reality? Can you imagine that?
If they come with that clarity, yes.
Yes.
But if it's just...
If they come with that clarity or you come with that clarity?
When you said on one pole is ecstasy, bliss, and on the other is depression, there it's not so clear. In
Right.
that state...
Well, then it's very clear.
In that moment doesn't come as, I am that, I am that, I am that. It's just a blur.
But when you are depressed, isn't it very clear that you are out of alignment with where you want to be?
Yeah, oh, very.
So there's something that's very clear, no?
Yes, but I don't recognize the employee, which I need to
Are you
go
sure,
off
though?
and give a party.
Okay.
That's how it feels.
All right. No, understand. Understand. Feels like you got shutters on again, right?
Yeah,
Like you can
or
really
fog.
see. Foggy. Foggy.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice fog. Nice fog. So do whatever you can to reach into a state of higher inspiration. Whether that is to meditate, to let everything go for a moment, or to take 2 to 5 seconds to stop thinking and recognize the clear, ever-present awareness that remains, that's always here already. That free, spacious emptiness, which is your awareness, which is recognized most easily when you're not thinking for a moment. 2 to 5 seconds, that's all it takes 12 times a day. That's all it takes to be enlightened. And then, or anything, like do what you love to do to the best of your ability, even in that foggy state. Out of all the things that you can do, what seems the most exciting, even in the foggy state? Do that, because anything that uplifts you a little bit gives you access again to that clarity, that bigger point of view, from which you can very clearly see, this is where I went wrong in terms of believing in an idea that no longer serves me. This is where I chose depression. This is where I thought it served me to think that, I can be myself because of this or that. And in that state, find something that uplifts you at least a little bit, that clears the fog a little bit. If you can't find a clear answer immediately, find something that excites you, even if it's a temporary antidote, doesn't matter. Temporary avoidance, that's all right. Just for that moment, increase your frequency somehow, manipulate it artificially if you need to, not that it is artificial. And then from that space, you'll see more clearly where your depression comes from. And then you can feel again what you actually want. Because when you're depressed and you're not noticing why you're depressed and you keep going in that direction for a couple hours or a couple days or a couple weeks or 20 years, then it's hard to find out why you're depressed because you don't have the contrast consciousness. You're not aware of what you actually want. You're not clear on who you actually are. And the things that excite you in life, whether they're actions or ways to apply your consciousness or contemplations or meditations or watching one of my videos or whatever helps you manipulate yourself for that moment to get back in touch with your alignment. From that space of clarity, you will have the eyes to see above the fog and you will see where the fog originated from. And then you can ask yourself the question, how did I believe it served me to enter depression? How did I believe it served me to think in limited ways, which then caused the depression, because that was out of alignment with who I am. Does that make sense? Clear the fog in whatever way you can, even if it seems manipulative. It's not, because it's good. Even if it doesn't seem to, psychotherapy my way out of this depression. If you need greater clarity in that moment, get greater clarity by whatever means are within your integrity at your disposal. And then from that higher space, you remember energetically who it is you are, where it is you want to be, what it is that's actually true. And then you can see the fog of untrueness. Does that make sense? Does that help you?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the point of view again of abundance and you can treat it as that employee that you're saying goodbye to lovingly and respectfully. Okay?
Thank you.